What happened at Montgisard should have been impossible. On November 25th, 1177, a dying 16-year-old king with bandaged hands, 500 knights, and roughly 3,000 infantry rode straight at an army of 26,000. By sunset, the most powerful Muslim host in the world lay shattered, and a teenage leper had carved his legend into history. Think about those numbers. 500 knights against 26,000. A 50-to-1 disadvantage for the strike force. This wasn't luck, it was weaponized timing. They noticed it before he did. A training sword slipped from Baldwin's fingers, and he didn't flinch when a page's nails dug into his arm. No pain. William of Tyre wrote of the early signs, the numb touch, the lesions around the mouth and nose, the quiet prophecy no one dared voice. Leprosy in a child meant whispers. In a prince, it meant fear. But Baldwin didn't fold. Pain narrowed his world. Purpose widened it. If he couldn't trust his hands, he trusted his mind. He learned roads, wells, fortresses, messenger routes, leverage. Maps and timing became weapons. At 13, crowned after Amalric's death, he hid silk bandages in gauntlets and rode despite raw flesh. Regents doubted his body. He answered by mounting a horse himself. The kingdom saw a dying boy. Saladin would soon meet something else entirely. By 1177, the balance of power was a cruel joke. Saladin had united Egypt and Syria, a feat no ruler had achieved in generations. His army crossed Sinai like a moving city. Armored ghulams, Syrian cavalry, Egyptian regiments, archers, scribes, cooks, camel drivers, foragers. This wasn't a raid, it was conquest. Christian fortresses were undermanned. Many elite knights were away with Philip of Flanders. Ascalon lay exposed. Jerusalem's walls were thinly held. The numbers were absurd. Tens of thousands versus 500 knights and 3,000 infantry. Saladin expected collapse. His emirs were already imagining which estates they'd take when Jerusalem fell. Scouts reported panic in the countryside and barely defended roads. And that confidence pushed him toward the one mistake you never make against a desperate enemy. He assumed Baldwin would hide behind stone. Baldwin did the opposite. Despite fever and linen sticking to open sores, he ordered a forced march south, into danger. He gathered Templars and household knights as he moved, pushing toward Ascalon at a brutal pace. 45 miles in less than 2 days. Templars carried the king when pain forced him unconscious. Saladin's army stretched across miles like a rope drawn too tight. Vanguard inland, wings raiding villages. A baggage train of thousands of camels and carts dragging behind them. An army that large couldn't pivot. It lived on timing. Baldwin didn't want the whole army. He wanted a slice, caught between motion and formation. If he misread the moment, he'd lose his kingdom and his life in a single afternoon. Late morning on November 25th, dust clouds revealed the truth. Saladin's massive host was scattered across 3 miles, still foraging, still unprepared. The horizon became a brown wall of movement. Military logic screamed retreat. Baldwin, strapped to his saddle, raised his bandaged hand. The signal. 500 knights formed a wedge, Templars at the tip, infantry hidden close behind in dead ground. They charged. Muslim chroniclers later described the shock. Elite Mamluks freezing, unable to grasp what they were seeing. A force outnumbered 50 to 1 was attacking the strongest army in the region head-on. But the plains hid a secret. What seemed like open ground was cut by ravines, natural funnels Saladin hadn't accounted for. Baldwin had. The impact was catastrophic. Lances splintered, horses smashed through ranks. Dust turned sunlight to smoke. Camels wailed. Commands dissolved. The Templars drove deeper, refusing to peel away. Pinned upright in his saddle, Baldwin could barely hold his reins, but he could see the breaking point before anyone else. Saladin's center buckled. His left wing drifted backward. Drift became break. Then Baldwin's infantry appeared on the flank like reinforcements conjured from thin air, panic moving faster than the truth. Routed troops poured toward ravines they mistook for escape routes, lines of men streaming into cracks in the earth. When Saladin's elite guard broke and the Sultan fled on a racing camel, the battle ended. 500 knights and 3,000 infantry had unmade 26,000. Montgisard wasn't just a victory, it was a windfall. Saladin's army carried wealth for a months-long campaign. Gold, food reserves, weapons, medical tents, horses. In minutes, it became Baldwin's. The war chest meant to destroy Jerusalem now saved it. Fortresses could be resupplied. Templars gained arms enough to reinforce multiple castles. But Baldwin paid in flesh. The march, the heat, the strain tore into his failing body. Chroniclers describe him fighting with blood seeping through bandages and eyes burning behind the silver mask. He stood through prayers of thanksgiving and collapsed afterward. Saladin reached Cairo with fewer than 2,000 survivors. His aura shattered. His emirs questioned him openly. Muslim chroniclers called the disaster divine punishment. The Franks called it a miracle. The kingdom called it survival. Montgisard didn't save the kingdom forever, but it bought 10 irreplaceable years. Saladin rebuilt. Egypt's wealth and Syria's manpower guaranteed that, but he moved with caution now. The unstoppable conqueror remembered the boy who nearly destroyed him. Baldwin declined rapidly. Battles shortened, councils lengthened. Nearly blind and often carried to meetings, he ruled the realm through intellect alone. The boy king everyone feared was too weak, became the last leader strong enough to hold the kingdom together. He died in 1185, barely in his 20s. 2 years later, at Hattin, the kingdom Baldwin saved collapsed under leaders who lacked his clarity. Jerusalem fell soon after. Montgisard became the last great blaze of Crusader victory. A day when a dying teenager stopped history in its tracks. Montgisard didn't rewrite the map forever. It rewrote expectations. It showed that morale can outweigh mathematics, that timing can break empires, that 1 hour of nerve can shape a decade. Most people today don't know Baldwin's name, but Montgisard is there, echoing behind every impossible charge and every desperate last stand. For one afternoon in 1177, 500 knights and 3,000 infantry believed the impossible, and the impossible happened. What will you do when your time comes?
Voices of Helvetia. The echoes of history are endless. Which one should we follow next?